Hey there, Ron here, and welcome to the training coming up. Listen, you're seeing a recorded version of it, and at the end, I took questions from the audience, so you'll hear those questions as well. Really good questions, I might add, and you'll see a couple of multimillionaires on here that I talked to that actually came to this commercial boot camp, and you ought to see what their life is like now. So if you have questions that are not answered at the end, go ahead and write down ask@ronlegrand.com, ask@ronlegrand.com, and get them to me, and I'll answer them for you. I mean, you won't believe how fast I answer your questions. So I'll see you there.
I'm the world's leading real estate trainer today, and I teach people how to buy and sell houses without using their money or credit all over North America. And because I personally teach my events, I hear the same things over and over everywhere I go, no matter what city I'm in. People are hating more and more of what they do. I'm not in control of my life, and I have to work 70 hours a week, whether I like it or not. To take your life back and build your own business is really what we are here to do.
When it comes to Ron LeGrand, there's nobody else that has had more of an impact on our real estate investing business. Ron himself has invested in more than 3,000 single-family homes himself. So he knows what he's doing. He's been through all the failures and the mistakes to teach us and other students.
Our folks come in, they start wherever they like. I like to teach people how to be a transaction engineer. There's all kinds of ways to make money in real estate. And if you only see one way, then you're walking through the business with blinders on and usually walking over the dollars to get to the dimes. Real estate is a vehicle to generate cash, not to bury cash.
It's amazing, just 2 years ago when I was working a day job at a restaurant and quitting that to go do the real estate full time, I've made more money in one transaction than I ever made in 1 year working at a restaurant.
My goal is to get people out of a job and into freedom by taking control of their own financial destiny. It's all about freeing up your time so you can enjoy life.
Because of Ron LeGrand, we were able to triple our income and go from 6 figures a year to 7 figures a year within that first year of meeting Ron.
The common objection, I don't have time, I don't have money, it's not for me. Ron's had 18-year-old kids go through this program, make $30,000. It works for anybody.
We have a community, and that's what it is. It's a community. It's a great big family. So we're not going to run you in a seminar and love you and leave you in the morning. We're going to be there when you get out of the seminar, and we expect this relationship to keep going for a lot of years into the future. Once you enter Planet Ron, as I call it, you're in it for life.
Well, hello and welcome. We're going to be talking about commercial properties here in just a minute. I'm Ron LeGrand. And before we get started, let me go through a little punch list here. First, if you got questions, John, you want to give instructions on the question? Are you at a mic? No? Okay. I can do it if you want. You can put questions and comments out there to your right, but please put a Q in front of your questions, so John can pick them up quickly without having to scan all the comments. And I'm probably going to wait till the end to get all of those questions answered, but I will outlast you. I'll be on here longer than you are because you can ask questions. This is live, what I'm doing right now, and write them down as you go, because if you don't write them down, you won't remember them. And if you do write them down, you never know. I might even answer them before we have a chance to do it live. So get them written down. Now, if you're I hope you're in a place where you can watch this without interruptions. And please turn your phone off, all the way off, face down on your desk. No buzzing, no lighting up, no vibrating, none of that, and no interruptions. Because what I'm about to talk to you about is, a lot of years of experience going into this. I don't teach anything that I don't do, and I've done everything we're going to talk about here today and still do some of it to this very day. In fact, I'm sitting in a commercial building right now that I bought in 1995, which is our office here in Jacksonville, Florida. I bought it with none of my own money and none of my own credit. So in case you think commercial is all about having a big financial statement and having a great credit score, forget that nonsense. Okay, you should know better than that if you've been on Planet Ron before. I'm going to show you how to make money in commercial, big money. But I want to caution you, that doesn't have anything to do with your single-family house business. You don't quit single family to go do commercial. Some have after they were making money in commercial. You may if you wish, but frankly, it's kind of foolish. Single family house business is so easy. You can easily do them both, especially when you get automated and systemized to the point there isn't a whole lot left for you to do. So at the end of this, I'm going to offer you a good chance to get into my 3-day training where we go really deep into commercial at a price that's hard for me to even believe. It's ridiculously low priced right now. It's here in Jacksonville, Florida. And you can decide if you want to join me in that, which is actually coming up soon. And I'm going to give you the information for you to make that decision, because if you're sitting here right now and you're new to commercial, you don't have enough information to make an intelligent decision of whether you're interested in it or not, to be honest. And if you pass it up and you don't do anything with it, you're wasting a fortune. In fact, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of my stars here on this event who have made a fortune with commercial. Just come to my training, went out and did what they were asked to do. And you'll meet real live human beings. I got 2 of them I'm going to bring on here today. You'll meet more of them when we get on the commercial event live. So, John, I am ready if you are. Let's get going on this thing. And you guys better get you're either going to have to take screenshots of the screen if you're on equipment, you can do that, or you're going to have to get your cell phone out and take photos of some of these screens, because I'm telling you, you're going to need the photo. I mean, some of these things, they're going to go right just like that if you don't capture the PowerPoint that I'm putting up here. All right. So, all right, it is working. I'm just testing it here. Why commercial property? The answer is, I'd say wait for you to get larger deals, more money per deal, less deals, because it's a lot more money per deal, as you're about to see here later. And it builds wealth quickly. It's a business that you can get into without using your money or credit. The profits are larger. I mean, there are definitely some downsides. The due diligence costs more on commercial property by far than it does on residential. It takes longer to get paid on the commercial property, but the paydays are a lot larger. So you combine that with single family, and you can understand why I'm going to encourage you to get into it. Plus, there's less competition in by far than there is in single family houses. And I've learned that once you actually take down a commercial project, deals will chase you. People will contact you didn't even know existed. Once you become a player and not just a talker, not just somebody making a mess out there and putting things under contract and don't do anything with them, you're going to attract the people with money that now know you're a player. So you get to hang around rich people. If you're going to hang around people, might as well make them rich, eh? Disadvantages, I just said, longer time to get paid, more due diligence up front, more cost up front to do due diligence if you're going to be doing it. And bigger deposits required, not that large, but deposits in commercial are not hundreds, they're thousands. I do all kinds of commercial property. I've done everything you see on the page here. I've done apartments, I've done self-storage, I've done retail. I've done 1 mobile home park. That's all I've had of them. I've done quite a bit of land deals. I'll show you a couple. I've done a warehouse, 2 warehouses, and some special use buildings like restaurants in the office building that I'm in right now. Now, you notice I don't have offices up there right now because I don't think it's a real good time to go out and try to buy office buildings. I'm going to leave that decision up to you, but just remember the whole country is working from home pretty much nowadays. I'm not saying there's not a market for an office. I'm in an office, okay? And a lot of people have to have an office, but it's not the type of project that I would pursue immediately, because there's plenty of other things you can do to make money on, and you get to choose what kind of projects you pursue. So probably we'll find something that really interests you. Now, there are generalists and there are specialists. Frankly, most people in commercial are specialists. They find one kind of property and they focus on that kind of property, and I can't say anything bad about that, except for me, I don't particularly like that plan because I get bored easily, and frankly, I like dealing with different types of properties. But I will tell you, if you want to deal with income-producing properties, there are several things you can do with that, because when you get to know this, you'll see that income-producing properties they're valued pretty much the same, and the process to get them paying you is pretty much the same, no matter what kind of tenant you have in them. But when we get to land, I'm looking at land right now for flips. All right. Flips meaning buy the land and then sell the land without touching the land. Because right now I would be afraid to do any kind of developments in this uncertain economy that we're in. I've been through all of that, and I'm telling you, I don't want to go back. 2008 was a bad year for me. I had 21 projects going on in 9 different states at one time, all developing, but I was developing stuff to sell, which is the mistake I was making. I'm suggesting to you, if you're going to develop anything, develop something that produces income, because the exit strategies all dried up after the crash in 08. And all the projects that I were working on just went away because there was nobody that would buy them anymore. Not to mention the capital dried up. I could have got over that, but I can't get over there's nobody to buy the thing. So such a hard lessons that I've learned over the years, and I pay you to get all of those you can, and maybe keep you from making the same ones going forward. What I look for and why. Okay. Number one, I'm looking for properties that have a problem. If they don't have a problem, I don't want them. If I wanted to buy a property that didn't have a problem, I got my choice of anything and everything out there I want to buy. Of course, I'm going to be paying retail price for it. That's not what I do. I don't pay retail price for them. I buy them with a problem and then fix the problem and sell the problem, or just sell them as is and let somebody else sell the problem, obviously for more than what I paid for them. You'll see in some of these land projects, I've done 5 single-family home developments. There's no way I do those right now. I'm sure you probably ought to know that the housing market is declining in most of the areas in the country. So we got to keep in mind what the market is like out there. And I'm just not into developing something or doing something that's going to take months to get through, hoping that the market is not going to decline by the time I get through with it, as it is in single-family houses right now. That's why I preach against rehabbing houses right now. It takes 5-6 months, and I've got 3 of them myself with that problem. By the time I bought them and got them all done, got them all rehabbed, the market dropped $25,000 to $35,000 per house in value. That comes right out of my net profit. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to have a recession or not have a recession. So I try to prepare myself for a recession, whether we have it or we're going to have one. We just don't know when for sure. Always have them. I've been through 6 of them, by the way. And by the way, bought properties through all 6 of them. But we got to adapt to the market. We just can't assume everything's going to be the same, because it is not going to be the same. So I hope I can put you in a position where you can make money without risk, without worrying about some creditors coming after you, because we do not guarantee debt in residential or in commercial. And by the way, if you're going to guarantee debt, I would suggest you do it in commercial, where your payoff is big enough to cover the risk of guaranteeing debt. I guaranteed a lot of debt back then, and now I wished I hadn't, because that decision has been haunting me for 15 years with all those projects that had to go away, because there's no way I could keep on paying all of those monstrous payments on projects there was no exit strategy for. All right, a lot of your projects will need renovation, which is why they have a large vacancy. And a few of them will be in foreclosure. And in fact, as we go forward, more and more of them will be in foreclosure, because with these interest rates as high as they are, it takes a lot of cash flow out of the property. Something goes wrong, needs work, whatever. The owner can't fix it. Downhill slide to where they're in trouble because they can't make the monthly payments. Nothing new. That's been that case since I started in 1982. But I don't want it to happen to you. Fortunately, you got me to lean on. And when you get to this commercial property, you're going to see why you need somebody to lean on, and what you can do about it to get through it smoothly and avoid all those multi-million-dollar mistakes that I and many others have made. If you get a property, it's got owner issues. Maybe the owners are feeding, or maybe they're feuding. I'm sorry, not feeding. I'm sure they're feeding. Maybe one of them's died, or both of them's died, or whatever. Okay. In other words, a problem. Just look for the problems. I like properties that are income producing with excess land to maybe put more income producing units on there, or split off and sell the land as is to somebody who wants to build something else on it. And then land under zone. Now, when it comes to land, under zone is my target. I like buying agricultural land and getting it approved for residential units. And the more of them, the higher the value of the property. And I don't have to touch the property. I can sell it to a developer by the time I get through with that, and a builder. Sometimes I've even gone and had the plat map approved, and I've rezoned quite a few properties. Rezoning is something you might want to think about. Buy the property, rezone it, and then sell it. But I would not do a plat map. I learned that the hard way. That's where you draw out all the lots on the property and get it approved. I said, no, you don't want to do that, because you never know what your buyer is going to want to do with the property. I've done that several times, and not once has my buyer of the property ever done what I thought the property was going to have done on it. Let them handle that on their own, unless you're going to move forward and develop it. Like I said, you want to develop. I mean, you develop, but I can tell you, you better make sure that you are not at risk. And that's going to be very difficult to do if you're going to develop property, because you've got to get money from the lender, most likely. And that's going to be personally guaranteed for sure. Here's an apartment complex. This is a example of a property with a problem. This is in Memphis, Tennessee, a few years back. We put this property under contract for $500,000 with 200 units in it. 200 units for $500,000. I mean, we thought we had a real steal. So I gets in my jet and we go up there and take a look at this thing, because we couldn't get pictures of the inside. And there was at least $100,000 fence around this property that the bank put up. It's a bank repo, but they put it up too late. Now you got to see, that ain't a bad looking property. From the outside, that property looks pretty cool, doesn't it? All right. For $500,000 for 200 units. Wow. That's really, really cheap. And all the way around, property looked great. And until I got there, and then all of a sudden it didn't look so great. Well, we got 60 days to do our due diligence. And I put up, I don't remember what the deposit was, but $2,000 or $3,000, something like that. And I think we got 60 days to close after we did our due diligence. So then we went to see the property. Surprise, surprise, surprise. There was 200 units sitting there that had been totally vandalized. And literally, when I say vandalized, they left nothing. They tore the electric out of the walls, tore all the appliances out of there, of course, knocked holes in the walls. I don't even know why they do this kind of nonsense. Plumbing, most of it had to be replaced. Of course, there was no appliances in it whatsoever. And, they look like this, mold and mildew all over the place. Now, normally, if the dollars were right, that wouldn't bother me a bit. Okay, we'd buy the property for $500,000, and then we'd figure out what it cost to repair it before we closed on it. And then we close on it and rehab it and make a ton of money on it. Problem was, this was Memphis, and the average rent was $425 a month. I should have known right then this would never work, because the net income on the property, friends, is going to determine what the property is worth, period, on all income producing properties. So problem was, I figured it was going to cost about $25,000 per unit to fix these things up. The roof looked all right. The outside looked okay. $20,000 per unit, probably more like 25. In other words, I'd had to raise $4 million just to rehab the property. And then at least another $500 in holding costs and soft cost, interest and so forth. So I'd have $5 million in a property that was only worth $5 million. That was a problem. The problem really was the low rents. So in other words, the math kills the deals. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't get past the math, you might as well move on, because you can't cheat the math. The math is the math. So if I want to do that, I just go buy property in excellent condition, for crying out loud, because I'd be paying retail price for this one and have to do all that renovation and all that renting up and all that stuff. Looked like a great deal. By the way, my intention was to buy this property and go get a HUD 200 something loan to buy it and rehab it. And those loans are available non-recourse up to 93% of the value. So I'd only had to raise 7% of the amount of loan that I wanted to get from HUD. And keep in mind, they got all kinds of programs for all kinds of commercial property, vacant and refinancing, and the whole works. I'll give you a list of them. I see it here in Jacksonville. In other words, if that rent would have been maybe $1,000 a unit, which made sense, that would have been a go, but wasn't a go. had to kill it dead. By the way, I had 2 of those projects under contract in Memphis at the same time. Both of them had the same problem. Okay. Banks repossessed it and did not protect it when they did it. All right. Why problem properties? Answer, because I can buy them cheap. Just like single family houses, when I buy a rehab, it's going to be well below market value. And the more rehab it needs, the cheaper we're going to buy it and the more profit we can build into it. And we build into it by doing what? Buy it and fix it, just like we do houses. And it's a lot easier to buy them because there's less people out there looking for them. Your hedge funds ain't looking for properties like I just showed you, even if the math did work. There are investors out there looking for them, but they don't want to go do all that work either. They just pay retail price, fill it up, single digit return until they sell it on the upside a few years later. That's the whole game out there. Buy it, fix it, and then refi it after it's stabilized, and then hold it for a while and sell it when the market dictates. That's the whole game right there. All right. And more seller financing. I have bought a few properties that I paid all cash for, a few pieces of land because it was so cheap. I couldn't hardly resist it. And I'm telling you right now, the first thing I'm going for is seller financing. And with the kind of properties that need rehab, like I'm talking about, seller financing is almost a given and extremely easy to get in the commercial property world, especially if the property's got a problem, right? Harder to get when the property don't have a problem because the sellers know that there's a whole bunch of folks out there that are looking for those kind of income-producing properties that'll pay cash. And at least it can easily get their hands on the cash, and some of them can write a check for the whole project. Those people I'm selling to, okay? I'm not buying like they're buying. I'm building in my equity when I buy it, and I'm going to get my equity when I refinance it, some of it, and then I'll get it when I sell it, the rest of it, if that's my intent. Or I can just sell it before I can get out of this thing any one of those steps along the way I want to. And, I feel a whole lot less risk when I'm buying an income-producing property that I don't have to develop. I just got to rehab. Because there's always people who want an apartment, for example. There's always people who want to rent a store in a shopping center, for example. There's always people that need self-storage, regardless of whether the economy is up or down. By the way, I was told in 2008 and 9 and so forth, the 2 types of property that didn't have a problem were apartments and self-storage. What to avoid? Properties that don't have a problem. Now, look. Just like single family houses, most of the properties that are on the market do not have a problem. So get over it. All right. You got to look for the pearls, just like you do junkers out there in a single family house building. Okay. There's plenty of places you can go find properties. There's plenty of websites. And you're going to buy most of your commercial properties through agents and brokers, unlike single family houses. I probably want to avoid properties in a war zone. However, there's a lot of money in those properties. On the other hand, there's a lot of problems in the properties. When you are buying properties to rent to people that have very low income, then you're going to have low income problems. I've had a ton of them. I had 270 some odd of them within my first 3 years in business. And a lot of them were HUD tenants. I don't want any more than that, but that doesn't mean they're not a good business opportunity. They are if you have the grit and the training to handle that property and to handle the tenants once you put them in there. Because it's all about your ability to be a good landlord. Now, you're going to job all that out if you hang around me very long. But just the same, you got to know that properties that are in a war zone, apartment complexes that are in a war zone are going to need a lot more repairs than properties outside of the war zone. And it ain't like a house. I can't lease option it to them and collect a $20,000 deposit. Avoid unrealistic owners who want all cash and retail price. The minute you find that out, and you can find that out before you even pull it up on the screen, just based on a thing called a cap rate that they're selling it at. Cap rate, capitalization rate. Any property advertised at a cap rate of 8% or less is retail price and not worth you pursuing, because an 8% cap rate is always going to be anywhere below 8. And in fact, I want my cap rate to be way above that or no cap rate, because the property has no income. All right. Remember, the more it needs, the cheaper you're going to be able to buy it. And we avoid land at retail price, with one exception. I don't mind paying retail price for a piece of agricultural zone land that I'm about to rezone for 4 to 8 units per acre. Retail price of what I paid for the land is going to be irrelevant, because if I go rezone that for 4 to 8 units per acre, that land is going to be 3-4 times worth what I paid for it, even if I pay retail price. And by the way, with a land, seller financing is available, or I just don't buy it most of the time. And you'll find that seller financing is a lot available. Real estate agents in commercial understand seller financing. Easy identifiers: large vacancy, no or low income, poor condition, low asking price per unit or per acre or per pad or per square foot after you get to know what those numbers are where you live. Just like houses, easy identifiers. Needs a lot of work, okay? Easy identifiers. They're willing to sell it on terms. Boom. All right, now it's a go. And just like single family, you're going to learn to screen out almost everything you run across and only deal with the ones that have a reason for you to be involved in it. And you're doing all of that online. This whole thing is online until you actually get serious with the seller. And then if a lot of the properties you might want to get are not even in your city. So you don't even need to look at the property till you know you're going to have a deal with a seller. So the rest of it is done from your desk at home, pretty much online. I'd buy with none of your own money. No, Ron, you can't do that in commercial. Who you kidding, man? Well, somebody forgot to tell me that. That's all I can say. Subordination. Now, this is a technique that I'm going to tell you about, and it's probably going to go just like that, but it's a very, very good technique. I use it in single family a lot, and it works in commercial as well. Here's an example of it. Now, it doesn't apply to all cash properties. I mean, it does apply to all cash properties. In other words, you can't do subordination on a property that's got a 75% loan on it, because subordination simply means this: I'm going to get a new first on the property from a private lender. Seller's going to take back a second until I fix whatever is broke and cash out of it, or refinance it and pay the seller. So they got to know they're taking back a second mortgage. And that means that the property's got a problem. And that's not a big deal when the property's got a problem and they have a hard time selling it. The seller's property is going to be the collateral. I'm getting a loan on their property to buy their property from a private lender with no personal guarantee and no recourse. And the seller is going to be in second position with no personal guarantee and no recourse. There's a daycare center up in Myrtle Beach where we were literally about to start selling lots in it on a timeshare. Timeshare thing. We already had approved by the state at 108 lots, I think, high-end stuff. And we were going to sell fractionals, actually, not timeshare. Fractional means they buy a week and they can exchange anywhere in an exchange system with over 20,000 places they can go in the world, exchange for the week where they could come to this property. It is Myrtle Beach now. It is a tourist area. And we were right there in Barefoot Landing in the heart of Myrtle Beach. And we were going to sell fractions for $250,000 a week. A week, okay? We had to build houses on it. Now, you just do the math. At $250,000 a week times 50 weeks a year, that's how much each house was worth. Plus, they paid all the dues and so forth to cover all the cost of the maintenance on the project. So, I mean, that's one of those deals where it's hard to measure. But it was a couple of $100 million, I believe, would have been the profit on that project if literally the whole fractional industry didn't dry up immediately. So we wanted an office up there. We ran across this, and the guy had a daycare center in it, and he wanted to go away. And he wanted $650,000 for it. At least that's what we got him down to. He needed a $400,000 down payment to pay off a $400,000 loan he had underneath. That's all he cared about. So I did go to the bank up there, and I did personally guarantee a new loan, of $450 to give $400 to the seller, and had $38,000 left over to rehab the property with. Now the seller carried back a second mortgage behind my new first of $250. So I borrowed $450 on it first, and seller $250. So actually I owed $700,000 on the property. We figured it was worth about $850 anyway, after we did a little bit of work on the inside. And of course, we were going to cut it in half and rent out one side and operate out of the other side. So I got a new first for $450. They took back a second. So I financed the properties for $700,000. And guys, you're going to finance it for more than what you pay for it. but not more than what it's worth. And the second mortgage was no payments and no interest with, I think, a 3-year balloon, if I'm not mistaken. So here's the numbers. See, math first. So we had 4,000 square feet. We had a mortgage payment of $3,700 a month, but we figured we could rent out half of it to cover the mortgage payment. And we had a positive cash flow of $1,300 on top of that every single month. And we got free rent and $1,300 a month. It's by renting out half of it because we didn't need the whole thing. So I hope you got that. I hope you remember that word subordination, because it's usable when a seller has a problem or a property has a problem or both. And when there's enough, you buy it cheap enough to where you can overfinance it and still be below market value. Works great on houses too, especially in the war zone houses. All right, you got that one? That's just one. All right, recognize that building, some of you? I'm sitting in it right now. Okay, that's our office building in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, I bought that thing in 1995, and I've owned it ever since. With a couple of years that I didn't own it, and I bought it back. Long story, no need getting into that right now. Now, here's how I bought that property. I hope you get this one now, because this very well might be the way you buy a property if you want to. The ARB on it was a bank repo. Okay, the ARB was $750, and the bank was asking $650. I purchased it for $550. Okay, I made an all-cash offer. I put up a $5,000 deposit with no contingencies, not having any idea how I was going to finance this property. I just fell in love with the property. I'm still in love with the property. In fact, we're renovating our new meeting room in it as we sit here. And we're literally going to have our own meeting room built into this building, like we used to have one next door. And then we got plenty of room in here for our entire operation. It's a 13,500 square foot building, 2-story. So contract for $550. And I got to talking to a friend of mine about it. And he said, well, listen, I made him a partner. He went out and borrowed the 75% loan of $412,500. And then his IRA put up the $137,500 for the down payment. And the kicker is we went to the same bank that we were buying it from to get him the loan. And you remember the total loan to value on that was only 73% on that first mortgage. So the bank had no problem making that loan. Of course, he put up the $137,500. I didn't put a nickel into this property. Okay. I was 50-50 partner with him, but I don't care. I mean, by the way, some of you remember him. His name was Ray Rock. I miss him every single day. Anyway, bought the building then. And then later, I traded him some properties that I bought cheap for his equity in it. And then I wound up with the whole building. So again, how did I buy that? I got a partner to put up the money and get the loan. That's going to be important when I get to a deal here that my friend Mark Mostek did on a self-storage unit here last year. I didn't guarantee any debt. No, he did. He did. By the way, later I went out and refinanced it after I bought it on a 15-year loan. That loan's paid off. All right. So it was a very good deal for him. It was a very good deal for me. All right. I like land. I love land. Now, I didn't say I love developments. I said I love land. And I like smaller parcels of land. I ain't going to go out and buy 200 acres of land. I mean, you're going to have a whole lot of crap you got to go through to you do anything on 200 acres. It's just too big of a piece of property. And remember, you got to go through the city and get all this stuff approved before you develop it. This city might not even have enough infrastructure to supply all the houses you can put on 200 acres. The problems are endless when you're buying a piece of land to develop. That's why if you buy a piece of land, you want to do everything you can that the buyer doesn't have to do. And every time you do something, it makes the land worth more. And this stuff takes time. I mean, time. I've had several pieces of land. I had one up in Bourbonnais, Illinois one time that Mark Mostek and I bought. He was a student partner. All my properties were student partner properties. They pretty much still are. And we paid $12 million for that 110, 120 acres, something like that. And man, we spent months and months and months getting that thing annexed and zoned properly and getting a plat map approved by the city. And we were starting to develop the infrastructure. God, it was retail. It was a residential and medical, even assisted living and all that. We got all that zoned for that. Catty corner from a medical facility. And then, of course, the market dropped out and the exit strategies dried up and it all went away. But that was going to be a multi-million dollar project for Mark and I as well. We'd probably still be developing part of that land. So let me show you a piece that I bought in Dallas. It's actually, this one's actually in Forney, Texas, Dallas suburb. Now, I used part of the seller's property to borrow all the down payment for all the seller's property. Now, of course, that means the seller financed it. So in that blue circle, you'll see 37 acres that was already ready to put commercial development on. And right across the street from it, there was 2.7 more acres that we actually built a shopping center on, 25,000 square foot shopping center. Okay. Now, the property was 800 acres. Okay. So get this, see if this will sink in. We knew that 37 acres was valuable property, sitting beside a school, incidentally. We knew that. And we knew it was worth way more per square foot than we were paying the seller for the other part of that property, which is, this ain't out in the wilderness someplace. This is developments all around this thing. 800 acres, if you can picture how much land that is, that's a lot of land, right? So we had the 37 acres appraised, and we were right, actually. The 37 acres appraised for, I think, $5.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. Just the 37 acres, we paid $11 million for the entire property, with a $1.2 million down, and seller financed the entire balance with only interest-only payments twice a year. Now you say, but Ron, geez, where would you get the $1.2 million down? Holy crap, that's a lot of money down. All right. Well, remember, we did our due diligence and we knew what that 37 acres were worth before we ever closed. So I went to the bank and I got me a new loan for $3 million on the 37 acres that appraised for $5.5 million. Out of the $3 million, we paid the seller their 1.2, and we paid the seller another $750,000 to release the 37 acres from the lien he put on the rest of the property. I'm going to say that again. It took the way I wrote the contract, made it feasible for me to pay him the same price per foot for the 37 as I was paying for the rest of his 800 agricultural acres. Okay? Very important clause I put in the contract. So I literally got that 37 acres, him releasing it, and then, of course, the bank put a lien on it for the 1.2. Well, look, I take $3 million, subtract out those two numbers, I still have $1 million left over. All right. And we finally used that on a down payment on another property. So then I also got another development loan to develop the shopping center across the street from it. And man, we were almost ready to put tenants in that. And then the market fell out and September came and the banks dried up. And I mean, everything dried up. We had tenants that were ready to go in. They all backed out and we had no choice. We had to give it back to the bank, and they had no choice but to take it. And by the way, these properties sit there for years before the bank could even do anything with them. They would have appreciated if I'd have made them payments all that time on a dead property. I did for a while, and I finally come to the conclusion I can't do that anymore. So that's the problem with personally guaranteed debt, folks. Okay? It chased me for a long time. Fortunately, they didn't get me, but they chased me for a long time. We'll talk about that in the asset protection class. There's your clause. I even more take a screenshot of that because you're going to run across this even on smaller properties. Seller will release any part of the land for the same price per square foot as the buyer paid for it. Now, we didn't know what we was going to do with them, the rest of them 800 acres, to be honest. That thing, we could have been developing that for at least a decade. On all kinds of different developments because zoning was easy out there as well as it was in Texas or still is in Texas. I don't even know what happened to that property, to be honest with you. I get out that way, I'm going to go find out. All right, so let me go back. What technique did I use there? Use part of the seller's property to borrow all of the down payment on all of the seller's property. Take a screenshot of that one. Both on early? Okay, I'm going to put Mark on here in a few minutes. All right, here's another one of them apartment complexes in Flint, Michigan. Flew all the way up there and found out it was a waste of time, waste of fuel. Should have done it before I left. I was going to buy this unit, and I think it was 100 acres. We had 100 units. We had under contract for 500,000, and we knew it needed renovated. But this had the same problem. The rents were low, and there just was no way it would work. So I was going to use the 221D program to buy it and rehab it, and then use another government program to finance it with no non-recourse, meaning no personal guarantee. None. All right. Mark Mostek. John, can you put him on here? Because I just coincidentally happened to be right to his project. All right. Huh? No, I'm going to put Mark on first because he's got to go when I'm done. Sorry, Hector. I'll get to you afterward, right after. All right. Mark, you there?
I'm here, Ron.
Okay. All right. Good.
I'm actually in the other room.
Oh, are you? Okay. That's nice.
I thought I was going to sit next to you, but
Yeah, we move things around in here. All right. Well, John, we need to put his project up here. Go back to the PowerPoints if you can. Mark Mostek here. Went to my commercial boot camp. What year, Mark? I surely don't know.
2005.
5. Okay. You lived in Chicago, unfortunately. Yep. And
unfortunately.
We had 125 acres up in Bourbonnais, which is Chicago. And you brought it to me, and we wound up buying it. And we borrowed most of the money to buy it. Some private equity people put up the rest of the money. We bought it. Now we went and got a construction loan to work on the construction, got that all horizontally developed, and then crash hit. So, man, that would have been a beautiful project. We'd still be working on that today, wouldn't we?
Yep. Or been sold.
All right. So after the crash, commercial was dead, and you went out and found a feller to work with to learn about commercial financing and the like. So I'm going to let you take the story over from there and tell us what happened on this project as well that you built.
So when the whole market collapsed, nobody was doing anything. One of the investment bankers we were speaking with before we knew how bad the crash was going to be, basically I asked them, I said, my prospects for anything in commercial are dead right now. Any chance, you could kind of take me under your wing and teach me investment banking? He agreed. So I worked with him for about 10 years. And one of the gentlemen that I met through him that was bringing deals to get financed asked me, have you ever looked at self-storage? And I said, self-storage, you don't make any money in self-storage. And I dismissed it. And he kept pestering me. So finally I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is actually better than multifamily and there's no headaches. So we started looking for projects to undertake, and we probably looked at, I don't know, 6 or 7 sites.
We meaning you, right?
Me and my first partner started looking for deals. We had, we had one here. We thought we were going to get one in Titusville, but it had environmental problems. And then we ran into some other issues. These are good things you'll learn about at commercial boot camp, by the way, because I'll get into great detail and you'll see all the little gotchas that you need to protect yourself from. Sure. And we had another one in Swansea, Massachusetts. And then finally, I found this empty, ugly building up in Springfield, Massachusetts. It was right off the expressway. It was 46,304 square feet. We basically got lucky, got it under contract. And my partner, who said he had all these rich people that were going to help us come up with the original equity and sign for the loan, basically, as Ron would say, it crapped out on me. And it was very hairy for a while because we had about $100,000 up at the time. And fortunately, I found my partner, who was a very high net worth individual, who loved the project. He had never done a self-storage before, but he wanted to do one. So he basically paid the $1.6 million for the building, paid cash, and we got a loan about 4 months later. And the rest is kind of history. We were very fortunate. It came out. John, do we have any daylight pictures? You should have daylight pictures of the building instead of these dark nights.
We don't. We don't.
Well, you'll see them at commercial. Especially the befores and after. So what we did is we poured a second floor inside, which doubled the square feet, and then we added outside units. We wound up with right around 90. We round up with 92 outdoor units, and we had a total of 786 between the interior units, climate controlled, and the exterior units. And we exited that building at a very, 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 very nice profit.
Well, let's go back a minute. How much did it cost for a rehab?
It was $5 million.
Okay, so you had 6.6 plus interest.
Yeah.
All right. What was the loan amount?
Total we could draw was 8.2.
Okay.
And
so you borrowed more than you needed, but
yes,
low enough to satisfy their loan to value ratio at the bank.
Yes. And fortunately, my partner had good relations with the bank. So we were basically 2.6 over LIBOR at the time. So it was a 2.6 loan.
Wow.
Construction loan. Nice. So it was really good.
Those days are over.
Yes.
Okay. So you spent 2 years building this thing with of course, their money.
It was a year of construction, and then we had a year of lease up. We hit 38% occupancy in the first year, and based on that, we got approached by a broker who said I could sell this thing, and we were kind of like, I don't know if we want to get rid of it, but when you get those offers, you can't refuse. We didn't refuse the offer. So
especially when they're 7 and 8 figures, huh?
Yes, exactly. 8 figures. So in August, our certificate of occupancy was in April, and the following August we sold it.
Yeah. All right. Tell us what you sold it for.
I'm not seeing that. A lot. Over 10 million.
Well, you had an $8 million loan on it, and so you sold it for well over twice that amount. And that made you a multi-millionaire on one project.
Yes.
Didn't it? Okay.
Yes.
How does that change your thinking in life?
Tremendously.
I mean,
it's life changing, especially when you get so much at one time. Liquid net worth is wonderful.
You think?
Okay. Yeah, it's the best kind of net worth there is.
Also, long-term capital gains too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was long-term capital gains.
Cut your taxes in half. And in addition to that, the same people who bought this project want you to build one next door for them, don't they?
Yes.
And they're just going to pay you 7 figures just to build one next door, which is nice.
Yes.
You'll have no money, no credit in it. So anyway, one life-changing deal. And you did put up, I think you said you had 50 grand in it for half of the deposit.
I had 50,000. Yep.
Yeah. And you spent a lot of time building spreadsheets and analyzing the crap out of everything because you're one of them kind of guys, which is what you learned during that 10-year period. And you made it easy for the bank to say yes because you had all the numbers there that made sense. So, guys, if you're going to do something like this, you're going to need somebody that can do that for you.
It definitely makes getting loans a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because I knew exactly what the banks were looking for as far as performas and statistics.
Yeah. So there are plenty of people out there like your partner that have the money but don't have the deal and are always looking for deals. And
Yes.
frankly, your package is what encouraged him to do the deal. So all he did was sign on a loan and put up a little bit of money and got paid many times that back over a 2-year period.
Yes.
So what you?
Oh, he
what's
was
the first-
very happy.
I'm sure. He didn't do anything, did he? I mean, you did all the work.
He signed the checks.
Yeah. And I remember when you were doing all that work, you were irritated all the time. You were a pain in the ass. I remember that.
Yeah, Tish was definitely suffering because I was a worrywart the whole time. It was during COVID, so fortunately, self-storage was one of the critical infrastructure things. So I was able to fly up there, but it was only every maybe like 3 or 4 months. So a lot was pestering my GC for photos and everything.
Yeah. Now,
But
Tish is go ahead.
I was going to say all my paranoia paid off. We came in at 1.1 million under our loan amount. When we were completed with all construction and everything, we still could draw another 1.1 million on the loan. So we were in really good shape. And I'm always ultra conservative. And in the sea of the commercial mastermind group, they call me the Reaper because I kill so many deals. But I try to be, I'd rather sell the valley, not the peak. So when we got the loan, the bank's pro forma they got said that we'd hit our 1.0 DCR, which is basically we're making enough to cover our debt service and pay all our bills. And
20% more.
In 19 months, and we actually hit it in 5 months.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That is what makes lenders easy to deal with going forward, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The bank loved us. They were thrilled.
Now your partner had to guarantee that debt, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. He originally was looking for a non-recourse, but he said, I don't really care. He's like, I'll sign for it.
Okay.
He wanted the lowest interest rate he could get. And that was with the personal guarantee.
Okay. Now we probably ought to disclose that Tish is my executive personal assistant for 21 years. And you met her when she was managing you while you were managing that project in Illinois.
Yes.
And then you came down here and now you're engaged to her. And
yes, I am.
I remember that she is the reason you actually bought that building. So, we're going to disclose that fact. Without her, you wouldn't have done this project, which makes the case behind every successful man. There's a woman kicking his ass. Because, I can relate to what it was like when you had these issues you had to fix and you had this, this ain't going to work. I'm going to quit. This is too much work, too much anxiety. I mean, I've been through that a lot of times in my life. The difference between you and most is you pushed through it and got it done. And now,
you just can't give up.
No. And anything you need, there's somebody else out there that's got it. You just got to make it worth their while. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add to this? I know you're going to be teaching the boot camp with me.
Yes, I will.
And screening the deals that our folks bring in, which I want them all to bring in a lot of them. We're going to deal with that before it takes place, guys. We're going to tell you what to do and where to find these leads to bring to class. We screen them in class. We actually call agents in class. We actually make offers in class. Of course, contingent upon our due diligence. So you'll see exactly how we do all of that as well. And by the way,
I was going to say, Ron and I did a great video on pre-screening that is really going to help everybody. When you sign up for commercial boot camp, you're going to get a huge jump start on pre-screening deals. So you're bringing quality deals, not junk. So higher chance for us to submit an LOI.
So to be fair, you will be bringing junk as well, but that's okay. Sure. Just as valuable to learn what not to look for and save you a lot of time. So anyway, we'll get to that later. So Mark, is there anything you want to add before I bring Hector Padilla up here?
Yeah, I'll add one thing. since I started with a student with Ron, I think a very important thing to know is there were so many people that I met in the first few classes I took, and so many of them just wanted to be perpetual students. Like I ran into them 3 years later at other events, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing now?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm just getting ready." And I think that's right. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, but you need to push through it and keep going and not give up. Because I mean, there was lots of times, like when the market crashed, we had a lot of false starts when I was looking for self-storage. You just cannot give up ever. A purpose once fixed, then death or victory, right? That's the mentality you really have to have. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and you sit on the couch and be, "Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that." You got to get up and do it. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, start looking 5 minutes a day, then maybe 10 minutes a day. But it's the repetition of the actions that is going to help you.
Well, the truth is, almost all the work in commercial is done at your desk.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah. The only thing you got to do other than that is have somebody go look at it, or you go look at it. Now, if you're going to do construction, that's going to take some more effort on your part. But I mean, we do it in class. We find deals in class and we make offers on them in class. And we bought some from doing that with other students in the class. And by the way, Mark is also working with me. He and I jointly handle my commercial mastermind group, which is a mastermind group where we do deals with students after they've been to the commercial boot camp. So he's going to be pretty valuable for you going forward if you're going to actually do anything with the information that you're getting. Well, sir, appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See you shortly.
Have a great day.
We'll take care of your dog.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Mark's got a sick dog on his hands right now. All right, Hector. Hey, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Ron. How are you doing?
I'm outstanding. You're out there in California, aren't you?
I'm in two places. I have my home in California and my real estate holding companies in California, but I have moved to Cabo, Mexico, living the beach life and making beach money.
Get out of town. Okay.
Yep.
You live pretty cheap down there, can't you?
You know what? The trick to it is making dollars and living in pesos. So we live very well. I grew my real estate holdings enough to pay for my lifestyle. And I say beach money because beach money is when you're on the beach and you're still making money from your real estate portfolio, from your rental income. And when you're playing the long game, your real estate portfolio will continue to go up. The real estate portfolio might have come down in value now, but again, when you're playing the long game, it's going to bounce back, and it's going to bounce back stronger.
You know what I always say, Hector? It doesn't matter what the price drops to if you're not ready to sell anyway.
That's right.
It'll come back.
That's
come
right.
back. Always does. Always does.
Always does.
All right. When did I first see you? What year?
We met on or about 2002 with the Ugly Houses.
That's a long time ago.
Yes, it is.
When did you start getting into commercial? I know you came to the commercial boot camp. What year was that?
Yeah, so I started getting into commercial when I took your commercial boot camp in 2005.
All right, 20 years ago. Okay.
Yep.
So you were doing residential first, and then you switched over to commercial.
Let me give some of your mentees a huge lesson on that. I was a former Santa Monica police officer, and when I left the police department, I wanted to become a real estate investor and own apartment buildings. But I made the mistake of doing what I call the reverse circle. The shortest distance between where you are now to where you want to get between these 2 points is a straight line. And what I did, Ron, out of ignorance and fear, is I went in a reverse circle. I went from being a police officer to becoming a broker's assistant, to becoming a buyer's agent, to becoming a listing agent, to owning my own real estate brokerage, to getting into fix and flips, to owning a fix and flip company. And finally, 15 years later, I started my true real estate acquisition and investment firm with a built-in management company, a built-in maintenance company, and a built-in brokerage.
So you're telling me you didn't even start buying commercial till 15 years after you started?
No. I was buying it, but I wasn't making the full transition out of fear and ignorance. So I continued with the brokerage, I continued with fix and flips, and I continued buying some apartment buildings, but I eventually stopped buying fix and flips and small apartment buildings and got into buying multi-million-dollar properties in 2015.
15. So you actually only been at the big stuff 10 years.
Yeah, give or take. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, big stuff depending, because fix and flips were, around $1 to $4 million. So we had some big fix and flips here in LA, California. Yeah.
Of course. All right. You're talking about apartments. I mean, that's a very normal place to be, even to start.
Yeah.
$1 to $4 million. So what made you decide to go for the big stuff? Weren't you scared? Where my money going to come from?
You know what? Luckily, I learned all that from you on the deal structuring. I logged in a little early and I was watching you talk about deal structuring. And I can't tell your audience how critical it is I call it the exponential power of one. The exponential power of having the right mentor. The exponential power of having one whale investor. The exponential power of getting into one right property, the way the gentleman that was just on, the way he did. Right? So it's that exponential power of one that can take your lifestyle and your business to the next level. So here's what happened with me. After doing it for 15 years, doing the brokeraging and fix and flips, I got tired of being in the rat race, meaning I did a great fix and flip and I got a big paycheck. But after paying capital gains and after paying taxes here in California, my gross looked sexy, but my net check was not. And then
I understand that.
Yep.
I understand that.
Then I had to get back out there, hunt for another fix and flip. Yep. And it was the same thing. So once I got into the commercial properties and I started to receive that passive income and I learned the long game, that was the big game changer.
You mean the longer you own a property, the more money you make? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. As long as you're buying them right and you know how to reposition them right and you know how to get the correct financing, that's the key.
Okay. I want you to tell these folks, you sent me a beautiful big old poster with your letter on it. And I don't have it in front. I got it on the wall in there. Telling me what's going on in your life when you sent the first one.
Yep.
Then you sent me another one. Tell them what was on that letter that happened in your life once you started getting serious about buying multifamilies.
So long story short, when I first got into your boot camps, back then we were paying about $4,000 a boot camp. And then I got into your commercial, it was called the Platinum Commercial Group, which was a mastermind group for commercial real estate in 2005. And I joined it for 2 years and it was $25,000 for 1 year. And everybody called me a fool for doing it. Then I got into it. I really started to understand the deal structuring, the raising of the private capital, how to source the deals off market, how to put the deals together. And so long story short, I ended up buying over $100 million in commercial real estate. I was driving a Rolls Royce, living in the Beverly Hills area. My wife had the Range Rover, traveling to 26 countries, first class, living way beyond my dreams. Because remember, I'm a former Santa Monica police officer.
Yeah.
So by getting into that and increasing that monthly cash flow, my lifestyle went from being a police officer to living a very affluent, very plush lifestyle. And that was by growing that net worth, getting into the multi-million-dollar properties and increasing the monthly cash flow. And so, those people that called me a fool for investing in my number one asset, and my number one asset was my education and my training. And that's what afforded me to live this lifestyle. And now, Ron, I'm semi-retired. I'm 50 years young and semi-retired in Cabo.
And semi is all you're ever going to be, too.
Yeah.
Guys like us don't retire. All right.
That's right.
So you, all those people that were telling you were nuts are all broke, aren't they?
Most of them are still chasing paychecks, and most of them are living average lifestyles. They're definitely not living extraordinary lifestyles.
I can relate to that. All right. Now I can read the minds of our listeners right now, and they're going to want to know, how did you go about buying your first multifamily house? Where did you get the money?
So again, listening to
multifamily building.
Yeah. So listening to what you were teaching earlier, it's about you're always doing two things in this business. You're always doing two things. Number one, you're looking for deals. Number two, you're looking for the money. Okay. Those are the two things you're always doing. And there's only two ways to really make more money in real estate, generally speaking. Number one, you got to do volume, a lot of fix and flips, a lot of lease options, a lot of, wholesaling, etc. Or number two, you do quality deals. And a quality deal is something that's going to bring you in $1 million, $2, $3, $4, $5 million on one power play. So I chose to focus on power plays.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example on how I started to do it. So I would bring in what I called a funding partner. And the funding partner, I would be the finder, they would be the funder. I would find the deal, I'd get it under contract, and then I would bring in a funding partner, do a joint venture. They put in all the money. We became 50-50 partners, but I created multiple streams of income. And here's how I did it. My real estate brokerage got the commission. My real estate acquisition firm got an acquisition point. My brokerage did the property management. We then sold the property through the brokerage and I got the listing commission. And then the acquisition firm got an exiting point. And then if we did a refi cash out, we got a point for doing the refi cash out. So I started producing multiple streams of income per deal. And that's how I did it.
Okay. You know, most of the people listening went like that, right? They'll get it sooner or later if they hang in there. All right. But then I'll say you did the same thing Mark did. You just went out and got a partner, put up the money and get the loan on the property, right?
That's
and in
right.
your case, most of your stuff, after it's done, refinanced with the non-recourse loans?
You know, Ron, unfortunately here in California, it was very difficult to get non-recourse loans. So if it was a whale investor, so I also, again, the exponential power of one. Guys, you got to understand that.
Yeah. The
exponential power of one. So I had one whale investor, and what they ended up doing was they exited their business, and their business was valued at $1 billion. I don't know what they netted, but whatever they netted, call it 700 million, that's a whale investor. So they started funding my properties as a private investor, and I would just pay them a rate of return. They were not a funding partner.
That's what people care about with money, is their rate of return. To them, that's like going to the grocery store and buying half a basket full of groceries. To them, it's irrelevant to them. Even if they lost it, it ain't going to put any big dent in their life. That's the kind of people you're looking for. And they're all over the place.
They're just looking, and that's wrong. What you call the mailbox money. They're just looking for that mailbox money where they know every month they don't got to worry about managing a team or running a project. Every month their money's coming in. So that one whale investor was also a game changer for me.
Okay. Well, didn't you buy your mom a house as well? I think I read that. Huh?
Yep.
I bet that felt good, didn't it?
You know what? I made people ask me what's my number one accomplishment, and my number one accomplishment is not becoming a self-made millionaire or a self-made mega millionaire. My number one accomplishment has been making my parents' dreams come true. So, I took my dad to go see a World Cup in Brazil. I took my dad to go see the Vatican in Europe. I took my mom to go to Europe, travel Mexico, and they've enjoyed the fruits of my labor. I bought them brand new cars. So they've enjoyed the fruits of my labor, and that has been my number one accomplishment. And now it's my wife enjoying this lifestyle. And now it's my little girl. My little girl's now 11. We're living here, what I call the beach life in Cabo. She's surfing, playing tennis, and enjoying life. And that's what it's all about. It's not just about grinding, and then dying. You got to learn how to live the good life.
Yeah. And money helps, doesn't it?
Oh, you know what? Like everybody says, I've had money and I've been broke, and having money gives you resources. It gives you resources that you can't have without the money. Absolutely. Yeah,
you're right. You are a real inspiration to folks, and I try to talk about you as much as I can. And it's always fun to talk to you. I could spend an hour, 2 hours on here interviewing you, if I wanted to, but I'm on a tight schedule here right now. So thank you for your contribution here today. I really appreciate it. I want people to know that there's folks out there like you that actually take action and go do something. And when you were a police officer, you probably were just squeaking by week trying to make a living and buy food, right?
not just that, but I mean, every day I went to work, I didn't know if I was going to go home that night.
True.
And yeah, I mean, I was driving a Honda Accord at the time and living a very, conservative life. So my lifestyle has changed, not just for me, but for my family and hopefully for future generations, because, my next play, Ron, is going to be valued at about 35 million.
Nice.
If people want to get a little inspiration on what I mean by the long game, a quick little case study. I bought one smaller deal, okay, using zero original seed capital. I put no money in the deal. I brought in a funding partner. We bought it. We sold it. We got a happy divorce, meaning he went his way and I went my way in another deal. I brought in another funding partner. I got seller financing at 3.5% interest-only payments fixed for 5 years, 20% down. We bought it for $6 million. We repositioned the asset. That asset is now worth about 12 to 13 million, and it's putting out about $75,000 a month in rental income. So those are the power plays that can change your lifestyle, and you don't need 100 of those. The big lesson is you need to understand, and I'm talking obviously to the mentees and your students, understand this one word, lifestyle. How much money do you need in passive monthly income to live your dream lifestyle? Whether it's the beach life, the farm life, the big city life, whatever kind of lifestyle you want to live, how much do you need in monthly passive income to live it? And then go out there and create it. And you may do it on one deal, or maybe you do it on 5 deals, maybe you grow a real estate portfolio, but it's all possible. Just determine what kind of lifestyle do you want to live.
That's a great advice, and I'd suggest that they go out there and get at least enough passive income to double what they need to live on. And by that time, their cash flow is taken care of. And I'm telling you, that changes your attitude, changes your outlook on life. It even changes your marriage because it cuts down on arguments and cuts down on divorces. And it's all about cash flow. Wealth, equity is one thing. Cash flow is the king. Start there. All right. Look, Hector, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in here today.
Yeah, listen, this is my thing. I love being an inspiration, and I love sharing stories. If any of your mentees have any questions, I'll reply directly. They can reach me on my Instagram, and my Instagram is The Real Hector Padilla. Send me a DM, and I'll answer all of your questions. And I wish you guys all the best. Ron, thank you for everything you've done for me and for my family. And as they say, he's Papa Ron for a reason.
That's just because I'm old. Right. Well, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, man. Love talking to him. All right. I'm going to move on, John, if you can put my PowerPoints back up here. It's fun to talk to folks who are out there and do what they do. Okay. Let me move on. How did Mark Mostep become a multimillionaire? Again, he had found somebody else to provide what he didn't have. All right, unutilized land. I like this. This is 57 acres that a student brought me in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And it was, plat map came with it, but it wasn't approved by the city. It was just 57 vacant acres. And we processed this at my commercial mastermind group meeting, and then later closed on it. And then the student brought it to me. Now I paid $650,000 for that property, but with owner financing with $50,000 down. Write these numbers down. The seller financed $600,000 over a 3-year period, and all I did was pay the taxes. I paid interest only on it twice a year and taxes. And all I did was list it with a broker, and the broker sold it. It took a while, but they finally sold it. And boy, I should have put it on here, but I don't remember what the sales price was on. Oh yeah, I do. It was $1,025,000. Okay, paid $650 for it with total owner financing, no recourse. Yes, I put up to $50,000. That's what partnerships are all about. Partner had zero in it. And in this case, we split profits 75-25, which I always do with my partners if I put up the money. By the way, I work with you. If I don't need to put up the money, it's 50-50. They are putting some kind of development on there for seniors of some sort. I mean, it was a great piece of property. So I don't know what the profit was. Paid $650 for it, sold it for $1,025,000. You figure it out. I don't know. Well, you got broker and other expenses in there as well. Never touched the land. That's the whole point. Here's a piece I bought here in Jacksonville at a tax deed sale. It was 14 commercial acres. Paid $215 for it, and we recently sold it for $695. Didn't lay a finger on it. But I learned a lesson on this one. You don't want to forget. I bought the 14 acres because this thing came to me 3 days before the tax deed sale from a local student here. And it was assessed for 800 some odd thousand. So I went ahead and bought it. And then afterwards got a wetland delineation report on it and found out 10 of my 14 acres was wetland and could not be built on. That's the only reason it only sold for $695. Because that we had it appraised for 1.6 million, I think, like that, if it didn't have the wetland. But we didn't touch the property, didn't touch it. Another 13 acre here, paid $150,000. Bought this from an owner, had no realtor in this one. In fact, I had no realtor in the last one. For $150,000, and I sold it for $500,000. Never touched it, and this is 100% funded by a private lender. I paid $150,000 for the property cash. I borrowed $150,000 from the private lender cash, accruing interest. So when we sold the property for cash, the lender got the $150,000 back plus accrued interest, and we used his wife's IRA, and she was thrilled because I think we paid him back something like $220,000 on that property. In the meantime, this one had a little racetrack on it. We were collecting a pretty good chunk of monthly income just on that little racetrack. At least enough to pay the taxes. I like these little land flips. See, small properties, 6 figures, sometimes 7 figures without touching them. Where did they get the money, you might ask? From a good-looking dude. Looks just like me, doesn't he? All right, joint venture development. In a nutshell, this is simple. Got a piece of property out there, and it looks like it should be developed. You just go to the owner, and you say, listen, I'll move this thing forward. You and I are going to become partners in a joint venture agreement. I don't need on your title. And I'll go do all the work, and I'll get the engineer and all the other people out there to figure out what's the best use for the property and do all the preliminary work. And we'll agree on a strike price right now. In other words, if I paid you right now, what do you want? And then we'll split all the profits above that I create by raising the value of your property and moving it to the next level. You do absolutely nothing. Okay. That joint venture agreement is in my boot camp, incidentally. It cost me $6,000 to have that agreement written. Okay, we just went through all that. All right. How'd you like to make 50% of a property you never owned with absolutely no risk to you? And incidentally, once I get the property to the next level, probably get it rezoned, and I'm going to start charging them $5,000 a month to take care of it from then on, which is going to come out of a private loan the seller's going to get to pay the cost of doing the due diligence and getting it refinanced. I mean, not refinanced, but rezoned and all of that. Small amount of loan. Now, most of these properties are free and clear. So, I mean, you seller go borrow $50,000 on it and put it in escrow with his accountant. I don't care. Anyway. I spent an hour on that alone probably at the event. How many of these can you do at a time? Now, here's one of my favorite properties. It's called Salmon Falls Resort in Ketchikan, Alaska. It's a fishing resort. Looks like this. The big old round restaurant with a piece of the Alaska pipeline coming up through the middle of it. 52 cabins, 10 guided boats. I think about 20 self-guided boats. All came with it. And I went there, started in 1995, and I went there every year since, except the last 2 as a guest. But in 2006, I bought the place. Right? I bought the place with owner financing with $12 million purchase price, $2 million down. I brought in a partner, and we operated it for 3 years until 2008 came. And I mean, bottom fell out. People canceled their reservations for the following year. So I had no choice but to let the seller have it back. No recourse on the loan. And the payments were a lot of money, $40,000 a month on this property, but it was an income producing property about 9 months out of the year. This is what we go for. That's a halibut. That's a big fish. That's pure white meat. It's one of the prizes. By the way, if you wonder how big they get, here's how big they get. Now, you won't catch one of them in Alaska. I think this one came from someplace in Russia, but that's a halibut as well. I'd just like to pull that sucker up off the bottom. I know you're saying, I'd love to, Ron. Yeah, you'd love to till you get a hold of that thing. He'll pull you down. There's the view of the dock and those the help lives in that building back, and then you see cabins up on top of the hill as well. You can go self-guided. I would not suggest that because you don't know where to go nor really how to fish. I guided only, period. 4 people to a boat. There's some more cabins right down by the restaurant. And here's another big old halibut we caught. That's one of my students standing beside me there. And then I got one of me catching about the same. I caught one of 145 pounds. That's the biggest one I've caught up there. And all kinds of salmon. Beautiful, most beautiful view in the world once your sun goes down on this resort in Alaska. Salmon Falls Resort. Look it up. Still operating. A hotel company bought it. And frankly, there ain't a better place in Alaska if you want to go fishing. If you go fishing, for crying out loud, make sure you go fishing. Don't just go up there for sightseeing. They got plenty of that. Got 17 excursions right off of this resort. But man, I go up there to kill fish. I ain't going up there to look around. Send me a postcard. There's the terms on it. 10-year balloon. Now, then the green down there, these are all things I built into the purchase and sale agreement. I built in the discount before I even bought the property. Of course, no liability. And enjoyed it. I had more fun when I didn't own it than when I did. I can tell you that. I look around, find everything that we can do something about. All right. I hope you learned enough now to know what you want to know more. There's a letter, the letter that Hector sent me, the first one. First one, he said he did $79 million. The second one, he was over $100 million, and he's constantly climbing. After you do your first property, the second one gets a whole lot easier. You've already made the contacts, and you already know you can do it, and your confidence level rises. And everything gets better and easier. So I told you I got a boot camp, and I do. It's a 3-day event here in Jacksonville on December 3rd, 4th, and 5th in our new meeting room. And I'm going to give you all kinds of sites to go find deals there. I'm going to work on real projects that you're going to bring to class. And then if you want a partner, fine. If you don't want a partner, fine. We're still going to work on them for you. And to learn how to spot the best prospects and eliminate time wasters and how to do the math ahead of time. In commercial and income producing properties, we can figure out what the value is going to be after it's turned around before we even buy it. We can also figure out how much we can borrow before we ever close on the purchase of the property based on numbers. How to uncover traps. Man, I got a ton of those for you. And honestly, this trip, if you're going to do commercial, this trip's going to save you 50 times more than you're going to pay me for it, especially at today's price. First day, I'm going to show you 14 ways to buy commercial property with none of your own money. I already showed you 2 or 3 of them. There's a lot more. And how to present the offers. In the world of commercial, we don't just fire out a contract. There's a thing called a letter of intent to get that first, which means here's what I'm willing to offer you on one page. And then the agent takes it to the seller and they come back, want to make changes or not. And they come back and tell you, no, I'm not interested, or here's what we want to change. And when we get that done, then we go to a contract. And the good news is, the agent's going to prepare the contract. I don't even prepare them. I have when I'm buying from FSBOs, but with realtors, they do all the work. And we're going to do that right in class. Special clauses. Oh, these are worth their weight in gold right here. These clauses that I've built over the years to fix problems or to avoid problems are worth more than you're going to pay for this 3-day event. Got to figure out financing, don't we? We don't want to get into the commercial world without figuring out how to close on these properties. Okay. This ain't about putting it under contract and flip it. This is about buying it and flipping it, buying it and developing it, buying it and holding it. So you don't just go to the bank and get a loan to buy an ugly apartment complex. You got loans for that, but most of the banks don't want to mess with them at all. So you got to figure out, how am I going to fund it? And I can tell you right now, it's going to be a combination of seller financing and private money, most likely, to get it turned around. So again, if you don't get in your head how you can finance this stuff, you can't make an offer until you understand the exit strategy and learn that you're not going to guarantee debt. You know me. The minute you guarantee debt, you're building your empire on a house of cards. It can all come crashing down, as it has many times before. How to get sellers to sign on the loan, put up down payment, just like Mark and Hector both did. How to know when you can get a refi, what you can get on a refi, and I'm telling you, you better know that answer before you even make the offer to buy it. See, our exit strategy determines what our offer is going to be. How to make a lot of money and never own a property, like my partners have done. They didn't own property. How you can develop land. We're going to talk a lot about land because I love land. And I mean, anybody and everybody. You can't get in your car and drive 3 miles without seeing a commercial opportunity where you live. Oh, tax reduction. Yep. I'm going to teach you how to not pay taxes, period, on residential and commercial properties. And it's real. Okay. It's not seminar crap. You don't have to pay taxes. And when you come to this event, you're eligible to join my commercial mastermind group, which is a mastermind group. We meet 3 times a year here in Jacksonville, and we work together to do deals together and learn a ton along the way. And frankly, this is a coaching program. A year in CMG is a year of commercial coaching because it comes with the package. And commercial mastermind group is not 25 grand, so don't let Hector scare it. Used to be. Right now, the mastermind group's only 15 grand, and we can even finance that for you. You can worry about that when you get to the boot camp. You don't know enough now to make a decision. Want to partner with me? You can partner with me if you're in CMG, because honestly, I won't let you in CMG till after you attend the commercial boot camp, or we won't even be able to speak the same language. Big finder's fee on properties you send that you don't be a partner in. We pay big finder's fee up to $25,000 just for sending us their property that you discover after you learn what looks like might be a deal. Or if you want to be partner in it, you can do that as well. And again, you don't have to. If you can handle the deal on your own with us coaching you along, then you don't need me for a partner because I'm going to take 75% of the profits. And I've tried to do everything I can to keep people from partnering with me when I think they can handle it themselves. Bring deals, yes. Now, this is where it's at. It's going to be in Jacksonville, Florida, November 12 through 14. Coming up. And normally, I started $6,000 in the early 2000s. We're currently charging $29.95. But today, we're charging $19.95. I keep going. I might as well start writing you a check. And you got to register today to get that price because it's a special offer that I'm making you on this event. We're about half full right now, and I want more people in the room come November. You're going to get a pre-screening course and a previously taped boot camp, which I don't care if you listen to or not because a lot has changed since we taped that boot camp. You can bring a guest, no charge, as long as they're in your family or your business. And you got to register. Call that number right there, and register. Work out the payments with them. I don't care. However you can handle the payments, I don't care. I mean, we can even split it in half and let you pay the other half before you come if you want to. But at that price, we should be able to handle it all. This is a life-changing event, my friend, and I mean it when I say that. And you can see it changes life if you use it. I will tell you that training is worthless without implementation. So that's why we want to try to help you implement after you leave the training. And you do that by the Commercial Mastermind Group. Again, it's a year. A year we will work with you, coaching you and helping you get deals. Room only holds 40 people. So when we're full, we don't have a room stretcher. Best way to predict your future is to create it. It's to create it. Make your own future like those 2 guys we interviewed did. Only when the student is ready can a teacher appear. I spent my whole life trying to get people ready. I wish they all would get ready, but I can't tell you they do. So, I do my part. I give you the tools. Then you got to get out there and use the tools like Mark and Hector did. But you're a lot better chance of doing that if you got somebody to work with along the way. So, we're doing everything we can to help you, except, I'm not gonna go out the property with you, but almost everything else we can do together. Call in the next 60 minutes, and I'll give you 500 Gold Club points. That's $500. A point is worth $1. If you're not a Gold Club member, go to ronsgoldclub.com ronsgoldclub.com, ronsgoldclub.com. Sign up. It's only $99 a month. Best bargain in real estate. Quit anytime you want. Got all my forms and agreements, residential and commercial, and a ton of other stuff on there. And you get Gold Club points just for going on the site and paying your $99 a month dues. So if you are a member, you get $500 off. You register within the next hour. And by the way, do you think I mean it when I say you got to register within the next hour? Test me. Call an hour and a half from now and see if you get my $500 Gold Club points. Now, the next CMG meeting is December 8th and 9th. Again, here in Jacksonville. So get that phone number, give them a call, and they'll answer your questions. And make sure you get your Gold Club points. You got to call to get that done, or I'd send you to an online site as well. First meeting is free for the CMG if you come to the boot camp. Again, I'll say that again. Your first member meeting for CMG is free. Now, please don't get these dates mixed up. All right. The CMG meeting is December the 8th and the 9th. Okay. The boot camp was in November. Two different things. So in other words, you don't have to come to the December meeting unless you're a CMG member, and then you certainly will come and bring deals, and now you'll even know what to look for during that month spread. So I think it's timed perfectly for you. So the first CMG meeting is in December, and you can come to it for free, whether you join or not. So you might want to make plans and work around it. And also, if you join, you're going to pay for next year. So that's an extra meeting you get at no charge. And by the time you're out of that, you'll know if you want to join us or not. And frankly, if you register to come, I suspect you probably want to join us. Why wouldn't you? A team of people helping you get deals out there in the commercial world and training you as you go. So let's do some life-changing deals together. Come on, come train, come bring leads, and we'll work together from then on, and you'll have all the tools you need. Remember Mark and Hector. Don't forget Mark and Hector. All right. So come to Papa. Get on the phone right now. Call that number. Discuss it with them. They ain't going to put any pressure on you. And then register and come on. And I promise you, you'll look back and tell yourself, I'm so glad I did. How many times do you think I look back at my first real estate seminar in 1982 and wonder what would happen if I convinced myself not to go to that first seminar? God, I don't know. I really don't know. I know there would be thousands and thousands of people who wouldn't be in real estate right now. Hundreds of millionaires who wouldn't be millionaires right now, all because of one teensy-weensy little decision that I could have made either way. Fortunately, I made the right decision. Your right decision is come see Papa. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon. And by the way, I'm also doing a quick start school in LA now in November. Get on our site here and take a look at all of these dates. And one more thing. I got a summit, a real estate and income opportunity summit. In other words, income streams in and outside of real estate, coming up in December 3rd through the 5th. It's a free summit. Should be a link on here to register. If not, you know how to reach us. And also got a implementation power day event where we set you up. In fact, we got one starting tomorrow here. We set you up with your system. You bring your laptop, and we get you all your systemization done while you're here, and plug some holes and do some comps where you live on your computer, and pull some mailing lists where you live on your computer. And when you leave, you got plenty of stuff on your computer to activate. That's December 10 through 12. And if you're a master, that's free. If you're a master, commercial is free. And of course, you can come back to all of our boot camps as often as you want for a year. No, as a master, forever at no charge. So check it out, get in the loop, get your training over with, and then let's get out there and get to work and become another Hector or Mark. Thank you for watching.
And we've got a few questions. So I just wanted to correct something there on the recording we just watched. I think you had the wrong date for commercial property. It is November 12th through 14th.
You mean I'm mistake?
So November 12th through 14th is the commercial property event. It's here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I believe you said the summit, which you can sign up for at ronlegrand.com/summit. It's a free virtual event that is December 3rd through 5th.
Right.
So anybody who's watching now, if you've got questions, if you want to talk to Ron live, hit that button at the bottom. It says raise hand, and you can use your webcam and join Ron and speak to him live. We do have a few people who had questions. They typed them in.
All right.
So I'll start with that.
I'll be thinking about them now and writing them down because I'll outlast you here tonight. I'm just thinking about Hector Padilla. God, man, I love that guy and what he's accomplished. Yeah, I wish more people could get to know him and hear from him. He's a real inspiration. He gets me excited, and that ain't easy. Now, if you guys are going to call, you got to do it right now. We've got guys standing by. They're only going to be standing by for about another 45 minutes or so. So get on the phone with them, and we'll give you plenty of information to digest before you get there. Like I said, we're going to send you some stuff, teach you how to look for deals and bring us potential deals. They're all right online. You don't even have to leave your house to do it. And because the more deals you got, the more fun we have, the more exciting it gets, the more chances that we've got to get you a deal or us a deal as your partner. So um, don't put it off. I'm not going to do another one of these things till the middle of 2026. So don't, and it won't be at that price either. So don't put it off. You want to see all of our prices go up about the first of the year. They're really lower than they've ever been in my entire career right now. All right, who's first, John?
All right, so I typed that phone number in the chat section, and the link, if you want to just order right off the link, I typed that in the chat section. So if you guys just hit the chat button on the bottom, you can see where I typed it. First question we got is from Sheila. Where is the best place to start finding commercial property to invest in?
Sheila, first thing you got to do is figure out what kind of commercial property you're looking for, what excites you. And that's one of the reasons that I do all of these different types of properties in this event. I'm a generalist, not a specialist. I can make a case on both sides. So I like anything that's pretty much income producing. And as I told you, I love land. But maybe you don't like one, maybe you hate the other, or whatever. So uh, uh, anything that you think that looks like it might make sense, even though I know you don't know what that is right now, you ought to bring it. And it's just as important that you find out why it won't work as it is to find out why it does work. Shouldn't be hard for you to find small tracts of land. Go on loopnet.com, LOOP net.com. And then there's some land-only sites as well. I can't think of right now. These, of course, are all in your manual. I think it's land.com. It might be just that easy. And pull up your area. And I want you to start in your area and just find out what smaller meaning, I don't know, gosh. On the ones I showed you, they were even less than, one was 57 acres. I mean, I've done larger tracts, but I'll tell you, smaller ones are a lot easier. And then look for, uh, I'm always looking for undervalued land, which means if I find me a piece of agricultural land, the first thing I'm thinking of is, does it make sense to build houses on that? If it does, that's probably what I'm going to target. I answer that question by asking, what's around this property? What is most likely use of this property based on what's around it? Let's say that it's commercial retail, then I'm thinking I'm going to take that uh, agriculture at the cheapest price you're ever going to get it, and then get maybe it rezoned to commercial and grossly increase the value of the property. Grossly, I mean 2, 3, 4 times the value without touching it. And I didn't make this very clear in the video, but I don't do anything except hire the person to get the thing done. I start with an attorney, and frankly, he leads me to an engineer or an architect or whatever I need for that particular project. And I build the dream team by having one of them lead me to the other because these people are already working together. And then that's why I call it a dream team. And I don't do a thing. And we did every bit of this stuff from here without actually, I visited the property, most of them when I bought them. But the truth is, the only reason I did that was to have a reason to get in our jet and go somewhere. And so we justified it that way. The reality is we didn't have to go to the property. to buy it. We got all the due diligence we want done today, which you're going to learn in class. Mark Mostek helps me teach that class, incidentally, and he's the real pro on doing due diligence. And you're going to see what I mean. I mean, he got taught to do that outside of me when he was in that 10 years working with that other fellow that he discussed. So he's a huge asset to you because he's going to be working with you all year long in my commercial mastermind group, literally looking at your projects, pre-screening them, finding out if they're worth pursuing or not, and then we'll work together step by step on that if you're in that group. And that applies whether you're partnering with us or not. You get the same service whether you're partnering with us or not. And then you want to ask, the CMG is going to cost 15 grand a year right now. It's down from the 25 grand a year when I started it a few years ago. Man, that's nothing. And it's even financeable for us to work on these projects with you. And that's the whole goal. You probably figured it out by now that the only reason I have a CMG group is so you'll. Okay, so if you're asking why, the answer is greed. All right. Remember, I get to 75%, but I don't want you to partner with me unless there's no way we can figure out how you're going to get the money to do the deal on your own, because you're going to hate me if I take 75% and you later figure out I could have done that without him. Remember, we're going to be advising you whether you partner with me on or not. I don't even know what the question was anymore, John, but that might have covered it.
I think you covered it.
Right.
So one more reminder, everybody, if you're out there, if you're brave, you want to talk to Ron on camera, hit that raise hand button at the bottom. Waiting for somebody to do that, but we've got Darren who typed in a question, said, I'm a wholesaler in Michigan. Good to see you're still going strong. Seller called me about a banquet hall he wants to sell, and I don't know how to make an offer on that. Never done a commercial deal. He's asking $4 million. My spirit tells me he's asking too much.
My spirit tells me you don't want to mess around with that. And I'll tell you why. Think about what's your exit strategy? How are you going to get a banquet hall? How many people are out there looking for a banquet hall? All right. And maybe converted to stuff, but frankly, that's a very expensive conversion and probably not worth what it takes. So the first thing I want to look at when I'm looking at a property is what am I going to do with it? How am I going to make money with it? And is the pain worth the gain? And I can tell you right now, on a banquet hall, it is absolutely not worth the gain. But if I did buy that property, it'd have to be owner financing or just like that. I'm out of here. Okay. I'm out of here. You're not going to raise the capital to buy an empty banquet hall from anybody but a private lender, and nobody in the right mind is going to give you all the money to buy it anyway. So if I'm going to go out and I'm going to get somebody to sign on a loan and put up the down payment, even that ain't going to happen on an empty banquet hall. There's nobody going to finance the darn thing for you except the seller. So the first thing we work on is seller financing. And frankly, it better be a really, really good price deal for me to have to come up with cash to buy it. Because we find the people who do the owner financing and back into the deals that way. And that's the first thing we put on our letters of intent that the broker sends to the people. And, they don't balk on that. They get seller financing orders all the time, unlike their residential business. So what's the exit? And I wouldn't have any idea whether 4 million is too much. Well, I would. If it's vacant, it's too much. Okay, so, but again, exit strategy is my biggest problem with that thing. And that's the same thing you're going to have with office buildings today. There's a ton of them out there that's vacant. So I really have no interest in buying. I probably should say no. I'm about 90% sure I wouldn't be interested in buying a office building. But every time I say something like that, it all depends on the individual deal. Okay. I'll buy anything if the price or the terms is right.
Okay, Ron, we've got a question from Gil. When did Ron buy this 200-person unit?
When did I buy a 200-person unit? I didn't buy a 200-person unit. Not sure where you got that from. I didn't talk about. Oh, you talk about the one that I didn't buy. You're talking about the one in Memphis. That was a 200 unit. Yeah, I didn't buy it. If you remember why I didn't buy it, because it don't make any mathematical sense. Of course, I could buy it for 500 grand, but it would have cost me, what I say, $4 million to renovate it. And that's about what it had been worth when it was done because of the low rents in that area. Why on earth would anybody want to buy that? I'd just go buy a $4.5 million property that was already rented and pay retail price for it if I was going to do that and avoid all that grief and all that risk. So, we got to buy them when they have a problem, or we're not going to buy them. You might want to make a note of that. If it don't have a problem, I don't want it. Because if it don't have a problem, I'm paying retail price for it. The problem can be the building, or it can be the seller, or it can be both. But we're looking for properties that have a problem. Isn't that what we're looking for in the single family house business, incidentally? It's either needs total rehab, or the seller needs to get out and is willing to take owner financing. Either way, person or property has got to have a problem. So we're not a hedge fund looking to get an 8% yield on our money and hold a property until 5 years later when maybe the market says it's time for us to sell it. That's not what we do. We sell it to those kind of people.
All right. Ernie asks, can we use Gold Club points?
I'm giving you Gold Club points if you register right now. You're not going to use any at this deeply discounted already price. You may not even believe me. You ask somebody that came to this thing when Hector and Mark did, it was $6,000, $6,000. And we had a hard time not filling the room up. And we were doing 3 or 4 of them a year. So price you're paying today, $19.95. Are you kidding me? That's a gift to you, a real gift. And we'll even finance that for you. So get on the phone. Don't worry about the money. Get on the phone. We'll work out the money. Okay, I want you there. I don't care how you work out the money, especially that small amount of money. And we'll finance you in-house. Just get on the phone and talk it over with them. By the way, they're not hard-pressured people. That's not what they do. They're going to answer your questions, and you're either in or you're out. And, if you're in, congratulations. If you're out, maybe later, but you and I both know when later will probably come. Most likely never, won't it? It's never going to be convenient to leave town, take 3 days off of work, never. But is it worth it to you? That's the only one you don't know that the answer to that question until after you've been.
Okay, I've had a couple of people that have raised their hands and they got a little shy. So if you raise your hand, I'm gonna promote you to a panelist, and just check the button that says yes, I want to be a panelist, and we'll bring you on live. For now, we got another question. AJ says, what are the times for the seminar? So I can answer that. That's November 12th through 14th, and it's in Jacksonville, Florida. And
a brand new meeting room.
And AJ asks, what's the hotel location? And it's in our offices here. There are a few good hotels around here.
And AJ, there must be 6 hotels within a half a mile from where we're at. We send you all of those when you register. And they're all inexpensive hotels. None of this $300 a night stuff.
We don't have that in Jacksonville.
Well, we do, but not anywhere we're going to go.
Right. Maria says, I own 4 lands and a property which I am fixing and would like to know how I can get a non-recourse loan to build on those lands and then to use those ones to get into a 50-unit residential building.
Well, that could take an hour or two, but the simple explanation is build what on those lands, and are you sure you want to build on those lands, which is risky, or do you want to just maybe sell those lands and then maybe put that money and a down payment into an apartment building, and you're going in the right direction, incidentally. Nobody starts with a 400-unit apartment building. Okay, we level up. But there's probably a lot of things you can do with that land to get that money other than build on them, because build on them takes forever. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of grief. There's a lot of disappointment in it because you can't build anything without the city's permission. Some cities are easy. Some cities are not so easy. And when I developed a lot of property, I developed 5 horizontal subdivisions, which I intended to sell to builders. And just about the time we got them done and ready to sell them, market crash. September of 2008 came and there was no more exit strategy left. So that's the risky part. You don't know what it's going to be like by the time you get ready to sell those lots. Now I have literally bought vacant land divided into lots and sold the lots to builders. But fortunately, that was at a time that builders really wanted to buy lots to build on. And that goes up and downs. That's gone up and down many times in my 43-year career. And I don't know, I can't predict when the downside is. And it's probably right when I want to sell and get out of it. So I'd be very careful about developing or building anything in this economy where we have such an uncertain future. We really don't know. Putting a lot of faith in Trump, but Trump's only one guy, and you never know what's going to happen when the next 9/11 is going to happen or whatever. So I'm just scared of building or developing right now, and frankly, most developers are as well. So therefore, your market might not be there when you want it to be there, but there's always a market for land. And because the most of the builders buy the land and hold it for a while before they do anything on it anyway, they're always buying land ahead of when they run out of houses that they've sold or whatever they're building. I'm scared. You scare me when you say you want to build something on it. But as to buying the apartment complex, that really don't have anything to do with that land, unless your intent is to get the money for the down payment to go buy it. Now, your non-recourse loans are only going to come on stabilized property. That's why you want to go buy a property that's stabilized or almost stabilized. And then you can use a HUD loan. There's a whole bunch of HUD loans to finance anything that people live in any condition. To buy junkers and rehab, apartment complexes and rehab them. There's loans for self-storage, there's loans for offices, there's loans for almost any kind of property you can think of on HUD that are non-recourse. And they were at 40-year loans, and they're at really, decent interest rates, not very low, but, at least at market right now or less, which is another problem is our interest rates right now. Apartments people are bailing out of these, some of these people are bailing out of these big projects because the interest rate is killing them and they can't get any cash flow. So and they're sitting around waiting for the lower rates to come, and who knows when that's going to be. All right. You can't believe half the stuff you hear on television is just all guesswork and nobody knows anything until it happens. Imagine how many people predicted that we were going to have a crash prior to 2008. Well, they predicted that now, but they didn't predict it then. Okay. So at least they forgot to tell me about it. Anyway, I'm on a rampage here tonight. You better stop me, John.
All right, Ron, we got Tom Holyfield. Tom, unmute yourself and turn on your camera.
Okay.
We got someone brave enough to come on live with us.
Yeah, Tom. And by the way, on that last case, come bring all this stuff to the boot camp, and we'll analyze your properties as a group, and we'll figure out in fact, bring some evidence of the property. Let me see the picture of it. Let me see give us a place where we can go on and look around it. We go on Google Earth and look around and see what's around it. And we'll come up with all kinds of ideas. And you never know. If you want to partner, I might even partner with you if it makes sense. But I am not going to build anything, just so we're clear. Okay, Tom.
All right,
Hey,
Tom.
Ron, how y'all doing? Always good to see you guys.
Good.
Just spent pretty good time with Isaiah today, getting some systems reset up, coming down there and all that. But I just retired a handful of weeks ago, and I got nothing but time on my hands to start doing something. But I'm wondering, I've been talking to a local broker, seeing about getting my license back. Is there any benefit or reason to or not to do that?
All right. First of all, how's this retirement thing working out?
I love it. Spent a lot of time with my grandkids.
Let's talk to me in a year.
Yeah.
when you're bored out of your mind looking for stuff to do all day. Okay. Now, what was the question again?
Should I even pursue a real estate license really for any of this commercial?
I had one time, a residential license. I didn't use it. I only got it to get the key to get into the ugly vacant houses and to get the MLS in my house. Never made any commission, didn't even try. There's advantages. Number one, it gets you on the inside circle. You learn about projects before the public hears about them. When you make it known that you're actually a buyer, then the people around you are very well may bring you in first, if it makes sense, especially on distressed properties. You have more credibility that way. You have access to your data systems. I forgot which one. By the way, in my CMG group, guys, we're going to buy Crexy for you, which is a very extensive database that people in the commercial business use, where you find deals and any kind of analysis that you want. So you got some of those advantages. I'm not sure it's going to be 100% directly related to you making more money. Well, think about all the properties that you get from FSBOs and you can't buy them, but they're going to list them. Well, you have that relationship already with them, so why not list it with you? So it ain't going to hurt you to get a license. Nothing
Okay.
wrong with it.
Yeah. Even for the commercial side, would it be at all more beneficial either way for commercial? Or,
Well, depends on what you do with it when you get the license, but
Right.
yeah, all of those things that I just described.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, you're going to run across some properties a lot of times that you don't want to buy, but you find other people that may want that particular property. And there you go. You get half the commission for doing nothing but referring them to the other side, really.
So
Won't hurt you.
I'm up in Michigan, Grand Rapids area. I'm gonna get cold here soon, but that's all right. We'll
Yeah.
it's actually
I,
wonderful weather
I
right now for Michigan, but
I had 5 projects in Traverse City.
yeah.
5. Okay. In Traverse City. One of them was a 40-acre fun park with go-karts on it. I took a
Yeah.
plane full of my students up there in my mastermind group, and we all got on the go-karts and rode around and bumped into each other. We had a blast.
Yeah. I bet.
And then I came on the property when I bought it, so I operated that thing for a couple of years. Somebody up there ran it. All right.
So
What else, Tom?
in
Huh?
the meantime, waiting to go to your boot camp here in November, I should be looking pretty much on LoopNet then.
Well, there's plenty of sites. In fact, I think we're going to send them to you ahead of time.
Okay.
But you'd pick me type of project, and there's a site devoted just to that type. There's one on self-storage. There's a bunch of them on apartments. There's a bunch of them on land. There's several on 1031 exchange properties. And then, of course, all your major brokers in the commercial world have their own website full of stuff on it. I mean, there's no ending. Like I said earlier, first thing you got to do is figure out what you think is most exciting to you to pursue based on what you got to work with or what you don't.
A lot of agricultural land up here.
I know. I
Yeah.
remember that
Yep.
57 acres was in Ypsilanti.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful piece of property. And I had another one somewhere else in Michigan. I can't remember even where it was now. One in Illinois, I know that. One in Indiana, 2 in Indiana. Anyway,
Mhm.
what else you need to know?
Well, that's quite a bit.
Uh,
I've been watching you so much this week. You got my head spinning all over again. So,
well, there's always Oprah. You could watch her.
yeah,
She's still on TV. I don't even know.
I haven't seen her in forever either. But
Yeah. All right. Well, good to see you down here in November then. And yes, you will bring all the leads you can. We'll instruct you. In fact, we're even going to have a conference call. We better get on that. That's coming up pretty soon, isn't it? To tell you what to bring, what to look for, and so forth, and where to go find it. In fact, we better get that scheduled. Now that you brought it up, you'll hear about it. If you're on here, you'll hear about it.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome. I see Jessica. Jessica got a question.
Jessica, unmute yourself and turn on your camera and
Yeah,
talk to Ron.
Jessica, you can come on here and ask the question yourself. You don't have to go through John.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we don't care what your hair looks like. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I was just wondering if you are looking for any property in Texas, if you give any referral fees, if we find what you're looking for. I'm just trying to
The answer
start
is
working
yes.
with investors.
Yes, and yes. I've had 3 projects in Texas, most of them around Dallas. One of them was I showed you one of them in the presentation. It was that one with the 800 acres. I had another one. Where do you live in Texas?
El Paso, Texas. I'm right next to New Mexico.
Okay, you're way away from Dallas then. There's a soccer stadium that the Hunt brothers built. We had the property right beside that. That was an extremely valuable land. And then another housing development on another suburb of Texas. But yeah, I got no problem with Texas. I even got an attorney in Texas for this stuff. And I love Texas. I love Texas. One thing about Texas that I learned was when you take a piece of agricultural land and upzone it, okay, they go back and hit you with the taxes as if it was zoned at the time you bought it. That's one thing I don't like about Texas. But
Yeah,
anyway,
Our taxes are really bad.
Texas and Florida are very similar. People are flocking to your state. They're flocking to our state. Good places to live. Both of them have good governors too.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll look at anything like that. Most
Okay,
any,
I have a broker
just
friend who has a property he owns right by the freeway. It's like a office building, not a lot of parking, but really good office, really good visibility, middle of town. You can get to any side of town in 15 minutes from that location. So
all
just
right.
curious if you're looking for anything in El Paso.
No, I wasn't looking at El Paso. This is a big country, but you could look at El Paso. You really ought to start right where you're at now and
Okay.
work that. And there's tons of different types of projects, and that's just different websites you go on. And but everything is on loopnet.com. Uh,
Okay.
Probably stay on that one until you're on Social Security, if you're not already.
Not yet.
All right, you coming to see me in November?
Yes, I'll be there.
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Bring projects. John, make a note. We got to get this call done pretty soon. We might even need to do two.
All right,
All right.
Ron.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jessica.
All
Yeah.
right, Ron, we got another question from Shane. I
Shane.
attended the commercial property a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
How much is the cost to attend now?
$500.
All right. And Joseph asks, hey, Ron, you said you are a generalist. How
Yeah.
come you don't specialize in anything? Do you find that works better for you being a generalist?
Works better for me. Most people are specialists. All right. I get bored too easy working on one kind of project all the time. And yeah, I learned so much about the whole industry that I never learned on one type of project. Mark right now is a specialist on self-storage since he built one. Um, uh, Hector's a specialist in apartments, and a lot of people are in apartments. So I just, wherever the deals are, that's where I want to go. But again, it's all about the math. And that's what you guys got to learn. And, how do you quickly go through the math to find out if this is even worth spending any more time on it? And the math comes first. We go through the math. So, by the way, I'll tell you right now, if you're going to bring me any projects that are income producing, don't even bother bringing them unless you've got the income and the expenses on the property as they are right now. And if it's listed, that's their job to get that to you, unless, of course, there is no income. And even then, I want the expenses. So anybody selling you the property is obligated to give you that information. And we can't begin to analyze anything until we know what the income and expenses are on the property, because the numbers are going to determine the value of the property after it's turned around. We can't do that without the net operating income and the projected net operating income based on the current expenses on the property and the current income. And now what we think the future income will be, we do comps on that. Everything we do is on the computer until it's time for somebody to go out and inspect the property. And sometimes I even personally do that if it's a decent enough deal. I'm not going to go out and inspect $100,000 property. I'll let you guys or somebody do that. But if it's an apartment complex, you can rest assured if I'm involved in it, I'm going to make an on-site visit. And yes, I am personally involved in these projects we do together.
All right,
All right.
Ron.
Yeah.
Ernie says we cannot get through to the 800 number. Do you have another
What?
number?
Why is it busy, Ernie?
Yeah, I just tested it on my phone and it came up with a busy signal. So you might have.
That just means they're on the phone. Oh, God, if it's a busy signal, there's nothing you can do but call them back. I mean, they ain't going to be busy very long. Uh, just call them back. As long as you get there this evening, you're okay on that discount. Uh, there's three people answering the phone, plus it's supposed to forward to a voicemail if it's busy.
Yeah, I think we got overloaded on
But,
the phone calls. So just try again soon. Hopefully, we'll get that done for you guys.
all right, yeah, get that done tonight now. Now wait till in the morning because they're programmed that if we don't get it tonight, then the deal's going to be different tomorrow. But I guess I'm going to have to extend that beyond a half an hour now, aren't I? They'll be there. They'll be there till the phone stops ringing.
All right. Jade says, can you explain non-recourse loans?
Yeah, that just means you don't personally guarantee a debt. And boy, I'm glad you asked that because I'm never going to get tired of preaching that. The minute you start guaranteeing debt, then you're a slave to the lender, and that can haunt you for years and years and years and years. But if you don't guarantee debt, there's no amount of property that you have when it's time you bought too much. You can buy hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property, all non-recourse, and there ain't a darn thing anybody can do to you if things go wrong. And we have another 2008. Okay. My mistake was I personally guaranteed those loans. In other words, I should listen to my own CDs. Well, I did. Because I've always said, save your credit for projects that are worth doing. Okay, projects that we were doing would have resulted in probably around $1 billion worth of an income by now on those projects. So, but my timing really, really sucked. And then I made the mistake of building stuff to sell, not building stuff to rent. And of course, when there's no buyers anymore, you're done. And that's what I'm afraid of could happen in the future. I don't know. And you got that, then you got declining in value when you start building stuff and developing stuff. Who knows what's going to be worth by the time you get ready to sell it? It's not under your control, it's up to the market. So don't guarantee debt. And if you choose to, all right, but make sure you have all the due diligence done and you have all the facts present and you're not building some kind of spreadsheet to make the deal work when it's not even reality. I love spreadsheets. I ain't never seen one work out like it's supposed to, but I love those spreadsheets. They get you excited. But when it comes to reality, all kinds of things go wrong. And you got to plan for those things going in. Mark, by the way, is very, very good at that. I think he told you he put up some very conservative numbers to get those loans done that he knew he could beat. And that's good advice. That's very good advice. And if it won't work conservatively, then it won't work. Right? We ain't doing it. We can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Oh, I wasn't supposed to cuss on this, was I, John?
Yeah, I'll forgive you. So they told me to give you another number, 904-263-5542. That one seems to be working. I put it in the chat section for you guys if you can't get through on the main 800 number. I know
Repeat it again.
so
I
it's
tell you, John, I just got through listening to a webinar and I wasn't looking at it visually, and they made the mistake of not doing this. And, I lost the number, and we don't want to do that. So you put it up there, but that don't mean that they're actually watching this to listen to it.
yeah, so I put it in the chat section for them. We're having a problem with our main 800 number. So if you just call that number 904-263-5542, just click on the little chat button on the bottom if you need to get that number. Yeah, we've gotten overloaded on our 800 number. I've got a question from Ernie. Ooh, I'm a little concerned about this question. Not suitable for work. He says, Ron, would you consider investing in brothels?
Yeah, I never had that one before, Ernie. Well, I don't know, Ernie. It depends. Are they making good money? Are they legal? That would be the first two questions that I'd ask. And I tell you, I wouldn't have my name anywhere near them. First thing you know, I'd be on Fox News or someplace. I don't know. I doubt it, Ernie, to be honest with you. But who knows? Like I said, I'm a generalist. I look at anything. Keep the excitement going on this stuff. Uh, do you have one in mind, Ernie? And are you looking to make money or getting the side benefits out of this thing? I'm not going to forget that request. All right. What's next?
All right. Next, Jade says, so there's a multifamily property I've been eyeing with 3 separate houses, all in need of a lot of work. Could we finance with these non-recourse loans?
Yeah, with private money. All your private money is non-recourse. You're getting it from people. In my world, you get it from people. We don't go to hard money lenders to get money. Get it from people, and we dictate the terms. We dictate them. They don't dictate them. And that's something you'll learn when you get to my residential boot camp. And that's something my friend and longtime student teacher, Jay Connor, teaches. And I teach as well. I got a whole course on it, but I don't sell it anymore since I put him in business. But that's where you get that kind of money. But you're doing a low loan to value ratio now. You should never borrow more than 70% of the after repaired value of the property, and make sure you got enough money out of that to do the repairs and hold the thing until you get ready to sell it. And that don't mean you have to rehab it just because you buy it, though. I'd put it under contract for X and sell it for Y, as is, where is. And that would entice quite a few investors out there. And, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, it makes a difference, but you don't sell it based on what you paid for it. You sell it based on what we think an investor will pay for it. Now, when we get good at buying it well below that, we get a great big check. We got a guy that just got a check for $101,000 the other day on a simple wholesale deal. Okay, and that's kind of rare, but they're out there. When you got 3 houses, that may not be that hard to achieve. Depends on what you buy them at. Everything depends on what you pay for. All right. Next.
All right. Brian says, what is the 800 number to call to sign up for the course? Brian, that's 800-567-6128. Although we are having problems with that number right now. We're getting kind of overloaded. So if you can't get through there, 904-263-5542. And I put that in the chat section.
John, you make a note next time. Let's put both of those numbers up there.
Yeah, I will do that. So that's the last question we have. Unless somebody really quick wants to get in here, raise their hand and talk to Ron. Go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, we are done for the day.
All right, I see Tom up here again. Tom, you got another question? Maybe not. Or maybe he's falling asleep on us, John. Okay. All right, last chance.
I'm actually here.
Oh, okay, good. You got another question or not?
Yeah. So are the VAs trained in commercial where they can get those?
No.
The income. Okay.
They're not trained in commercial, but what do you want them to do anyway?
Well, about those income and expenses.
About what?
The income and the expense information.
No. You don't need a VA to tell you that anyway. You're going to get that from the broker or the seller.
Okay.
Or the seller. And then you're going to analyze it yourself once you learn how to analyze it. Gotcha. Again, that's the first thing I want to look at on anything that's income producing.
Yep.
And then we take it from there and pick it over and project what it would be in the future based on evidence we find doing our due diligence. All right.
Amen.
Anything else, Tom?
No, nothing really.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Last chance. Okay. Well, thank you all.
All right, Ron, I think that's all our questions for today.
Thank you all. Hope to see you here in Jacksonville. Come on down. Boy, you should see the weather here today. Tell them, John, you couldn't find a better place in the country that had better weather than we had today. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's why people moved to Florida. All right. Okay. Well, we'll see you soon. And, get out there and get something going in your life, for crying out loud. Residential going, get commercial going. You can do them simultaneously. Some people do residential, later abandon to go commercial when they start getting this big money. But you got to get started. Nothing happens until you get started. And don't wait till you think you know everything to get started, because you learn most of everything you're going to learn while you're doing it, not while you're sitting in class, while you're doing it. And especially when you got somebody to work with along the way that's already done it. And you'll learn very, very quickly that way. But you got to get started. And I'll tell you, this is kind of like buying stocks that have plunged to the bottom. They're all going to go right back up. You better get them while they're down at the bottom, meaning the price of this event and the price of Quick Start, for that matter. Both of them are dirt cheap right now. All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Amen.
Ron's event to me is heads and toes above any other event. He always has good content. He has good speakers that he brings in. He doesn't let just anybody come in and speak. He always has good speakers.
It's great energy. There's a lot of people motivated and a lot of people that are getting motivated. You can just tell by everyone that walks up there and speaks that they're here to help with whatever they can. So it's really exciting.
So the content is a little overwhelming at first when some of the mentors have said to us, be prepared, it's like drinking from a fire hose. They are absolutely right.
It's just chock full of so much great information, first of all. And then just to hear testimonials from others who've been doing it as well.
It's awesome. The amount of information, it borders on information overload, but it is so good. Every time you hear it, you just understand it a little better.
So the live on-stage phone calls where all the mentors got up on stage. Each mentor got about 3 chances, or whoever they can get on the phone. And it was raw, uncut, live calls, like, anything can go.
You actually get to see fellow students work on properties that have the potential for you to purchase and make an incredible profit on.
Ron's an awesome guy. He's got the goods. It's not a flash in the pan kind of event. It's just rock solid meat and potatoes, good stuff all the way through.
He is so matter of fact. His teaching style is very to the point. There's no BS, but you learn really quickly that way.
He's the real deal. He's to the point, and he's been doing it for so long that it's like second nature to him. And if you just listen to what he does and what he says, then you'll do fine.
He seems sincere, he's honest, he's easy to understand. He has a sense of humor. So I enjoy his teaching.
Man, he changed my life, man, just off of the content that I've gotten, just listening to him. And I don't know too many people that can hold you in one place for 12 hours and you still be excited just listening to him.
He tells you exactly what to do, how it is. It's no baloney, I like that.
Everybody is just super nice, super helpful. They want to make sure that you're getting what you're needing.
Anytime we have a question, they're there to answer it.
Everybody's so helpful, and all they want to do is see you succeed, which is very good, and it's obvious too.
This event gives you limitless potential. You owe it to yourself to come and learn what this process is, because it will open your eyes and change your life.
Just do it. I mean, save up the money. And if you're on the fence and this is something that you're interested in and you can see yourself doing, then you're absolutely right. You can absolutely do this business. It'll change your life. I believe it's changed mine.
If you're considering real estate at all, this event, you can get people that will walk beside you and help you become a success in this. 100%. You will do deals with these people.
You're going to make it back in one deal if you're passionate about it and this is what you want to do. To me, it's like a no-brainer,
Just do it. Just do it.